Landslide hits Yunnan, 18 houses buried, 47 people trapped. Chinese university graduates face at least a 30% cut in starting salaries. Stricter control measures, 2024 economic storm intensifies. It's all covered in today's China Truths. Landslide hits Yunnan, 18 houses buried, 47 people trapped. At 5:51 a.m. on January 22, a landslide occurred in Lianshui Village, Tangfang Town, Yunnan Province, China. Based on initial assessments, authorities reported that 18 houses, with a total of 47 people, were buried. As of 1:30 p.m. on the 22nd, 2 of the missing individuals have been found dead. Currently, the local temperature dropping below freezing has added to the difficulty of survival for those affected. A villager from Lianshui Village mentioned that everyone was asleep when the landslide occurred, with a loud noise was heard, and the ground shook, resembling a major earthquake. Upon waking up, they learned about the landslide in a nearby village, burying many households. Villagers who managed to escape gathered on the roadside under snowfall, uncertain about the possibility of a second collapse. Mr. Wu, another villager from the affected area, said that the landslide's height was approximately 70 to 80 meters. The buried residents lived at the mountain's foot, and while some have been found, unfortunately, they did not survive. Another villager said that they recorded the landslide sound with a mobile phone, lasting 21 seconds long and capturing the continuous thunderous noise. Local villagers informed Shaoxiang Morning News that the affected village is a coal mining village with multiple coal mining companies. According to the Chinese enterprise information platform Tianyanka, a company named Jinxiong County Lujiapo Coal Mine was established in November 2005, engaged in coal mining and washing. When reporters called the company to inquire about the landslide incident, the call was immediately disconnected. Some netizens questioned the frequency of disasters in China, citing incidents like exploding hot pot restaurants, landslides, small earthquakes, and coal mine collapses, prompting them to ask about the reasons. On January 12, before this incident, a coal mine in Pingdingshan, Hunan, China, experienced a mining accident. The authorities claimed that the accident resulted in 10 deaths and 6 people missing. However, local netizens contest this figure, stating that the actual number is more than 30. Chinese university graduates face at least a 30% cut in starting salaries. China's economy is currently deeping into decline, with numerous companies cutting back on recruitment, leading to a worsening employment scenario for young people. Reports suggest that starting salaries for graduates from prestigious institutions are being slashed by at least 30%. Wu, an executive, shared with Voice of America that the value of a university degree has diminished. Individuals who previously earned over 10,000 yuan per month, about $1,390 before the pandemic, are now earning only 6,000 to 7,000 yuan, about $973. Graduates from less prominent universities in first-tier cities are experiencing a widespread reduction in monthly salaries to 5,000 to 6,000 yuan. Vocational school graduates are starting even lower, with salaries ranging from 3,000 to 4,000 yuan, about $556. These income levels prove inadequate for covering living expenses such as rent and commuting in the Yangtze River Delta region. Wu highlighted that even highly skilled professionals are grappling with shrinking salaries. Many research and development experts laid off by major companies like Alibaba last year, who originally earned $1 million yuan annually, nearly $139,000, are now content with any job that helps them sustain their families and meet mortgage payments, even if it means receiving only half of their previous salary. Li, a university teacher in a southeastern coastal city, noted that around 20% of graduates from affluent families opt for a passive approach, lacking future plans amidst job challenges and unsatisfactory salaries. Some university graduates are compelled to leave bustling first-tier cities and return to their hometowns, only to face challenges in finding employment there. Melody Zhang, a media graduate from Renmin University, faced more than 100 job rejections. As a last resort, she applied for a position in a national propaganda unit but failed in the competition against 2.6 million applicants for 40,000 public service positions. She expressed her frustration, stating, "In this economically challenging era, job hunting is torment." Hui Shan, chief advisor of the Malaysian Pacific Research Center, conveyed to Voice of America that with a large population, decreasing economic growth and job opportunities naturally lead to fewer prospects. He underscored that the key to genuinely improving youth employment in China lies in stimulating economic growth. Stricter control measures. 2024 economic storm intensifies. In 2023, China faced an array of economic challenges, including a significant surge in fiscal deficits, defaults by real estate developers, closures of financial institutions, and a substantial decline in exports. These issues had a profound impact on the lives of ordinary citizens, resulting in a drop in property values, increased unemployment, and a decrease in consumer spending. The overall economic situation showed no signs of improvement, raising concerns about the possibility of even more significant defaults. Yet, amidst the swirling currents of economic uncertainty, the recent Davos Forum witnessed Chinese Premier Li Qiang boldly proclaiming a 5.2% economic growth for China in 2023, a notable stride beyond the government's targeted 5%. This figure stirred controversy, with many questioning its accuracy. Some even suggested that China experienced negative economic growth in the preceding year. What does the economic outlook for China hold this year, and is there a chance of recovery from the challenges of the past year? Join the insightful analysis of the Elite Forum experts as they delve deep into this critical theme. Li Qiang deceived himself. China's real GDP growth last year was negative. Mr. Kai Shinkuan, a notable Chinese media figure in the U.S., stated on the Elite Forum that the CCP's claim of a 5.2% GDP growth for the previous year surprised the international public. He believes both domestic financial experts and entrepreneurs find this figure unbelievable. The current Bureau of Statistics has lost its objective authority, aligning more with the narrative of singing the light of China's economy from the CCP Central Committee to maintain social stability. Economic data, as emphasized by the party, must adhere to central government directives. The 5.2% figure is predetermined by the CCP Central Committee, with the statistical department merely cooperating. Whether this data can withstand scrutiny, gain global acceptance, or possess credibility is not considered by the Statistical Bureau. Mr. Kai stated that the consensus among experts studying China's economic issues is that the country essentially experienced no growth, possibly negative growth, last year. He questioned why Li Qiang announced such positive news, asserting that China remains the world's most economically developed major country, especially under the leadership of Xi Jinping. Despite various challenges, Li Qiang aimed to encourage continued foreign investment, yet to some extent, he continued attempts to deceive these investors. In a common Chinese phrase, Kai mentioned that Li Qiang is essentially deceiving himself, unable to make those with basic knowledge recognize China's economic growth data. He argued that China's three primary economic drivers, investment, exports, and domestic demand, all exhibited signs of decline. Fixed asset investment in China plummeted by over 10% compared to the previous year due to a lack of viable projects and available funds. Foreign investment in China, after reaching a historic peak in 2021, sharply dropped in 2023 to a mere $150 billion. Exports, under normal circumstances, should have decreased throughout the year. Regarding domestic demand, the unemployment rate among young people in China reportedly reached over 20% at its highest point in the previous year. Even though official data later claimed a lower rate, it excluded around 60 million university students. Observers familiar with the actual situation in China estimated that the real youth unemployment rate was around 50%. Given the severe economic conditions, Kai predicted that if a premier of the State Council lacks familiarity with China's current economic situation and real data, yet continues to boast, it is seen as a precursor to disaster. He anticipated that China's economy in 2024 would face greater challenges and more dangers than the previous year. China's new economic troika emerges. Regarding the three primary drivers of China's economy that have recently weakened, independent television producer Li Jun, during the Elite Forum, noted the emergence of new forces taking their place. These new driving forces are identified as the Statistics Bureau, the Propaganda Department, and Xinhua News Agency. Li Jun emphasized that China's economic outlook now relies on these three entities. Once these forces come into action, China's economy will consistently appear positive and bright. Li further added that he's of the opinion that China's economy has reached a turning point. Over the years, China's economy has relied on unhealthy development, propelled by fixed asset investment through local government debts, massive investments fueled by local government debts, and the limitless expansion of the real estate bubble to boost GDP. These three aspects are inherently unhealthy, and at some point, they were destined to collapse. Coincidentally, in 2023, all three industries collapsed, and the entire economy crossed a critical point. Once this critical point is crossed, it is irreversible, and no one can salvage it. He also highlighted a distinctive situation in China where the top leadership, including Xi Jinping, Li Qiang, Deng Xuexiang, and Kai Chi, lacks individuals who truly understand economics. People with economic expertise within the system have all departed. With China's economy facing its most precarious period after crossing a critical point, Li Jun expressed skepticism, stating that nobody has the confidence to predict an improvement in the economy in 2024. The CCP's economic model in 4 phases: more control, worse outcomes. Ms. Guo Jun, chief editor of Epoch Times, also expressed in the Elite Forum that every economic system exhibits inertia, and the larger the scale, the greater the inertia. It cannot undergo sudden improvement or deterioration. The trajectory of China's economy in 2024 and the coming years cannot reverse the inertia of the past few years. The core issue of China's economic challenges lies in politics, specifically in the political system and structure of the Chinese Communist Party. Reflecting on China's economic history over the past 70 years, the initial phase was the post-war recovery period in the 1950s. With the end of the war and the onset of peacetime, economic growth naturally manifested as recovery. The second phase, known as the socialist transformation, witnessed the dominance of state-owned enterprises, leading to a worsening economic performance. In the third phase, under Deng Xiaoping's leadership in reforms and opening up, decentralization, a reduction in the proportion of state-owned enterprises, and encouragement of private investment in enterprises resulted in substantial economic growth. Now, in the fourth phase, following economic growth, the top leadership of the CCP gained considerable confidence, feeling unbeatable. They initiated top-level design and a shift towards state advancement and private retreat. The CCP believed that its economic growth was entirely self-designed, leading them to dictate the global direction and guide the entire world. Consequently, economic problems became inevitable. Observing the situation in 2024 and subsequent years aligns with these larger cycles. The planned economy, dominance of state-owned enterprises, and the top-down top-level design are fundamental characteristics of the communist regime. Currently, the CCP is reverting to these approaches, and the future trajectory of China's economy has already been set. Improvement is deemed impossible. When faced with challenges, the CCP always believes that insufficient control is the issue, attributing all problems to external factors. Hence, the CCP's consistent response is to tighten control. During the recent Central Commission for Discipline inspection meeting, Xi Jinping emphasized strengthening anti-corruption efforts in 5 areas by 2024, essentially signifying increased control. These areas encompass finance, state-owned enterprises, energy, pharmaceuticals, and infrastructure, reflecting heightened control over the economy. This approach is deemed a contradictory remedy. Ms. Guo Jun noted that anti-corruption is undoubtedly necessary but must occur in an open society, under fair and just legal systems, and with public scrutiny. The CCP's anti-corruption efforts aim to control the official system and various industries in China, ultimately intending to control the entire Chinese society. Such policies are predicted to lead inevitably to a severe economic downturn. Middle-class illusions shattered, China's economy even colder this year. After several years of unpredictable changes, These pseudo-middle-class individuals in China have essentially exposed their true circumstances. Previously, it was claimed that these middle-class individuals owned several houses and assets worth millions. Now, with a sudden decline in housing prices, the value of the properties they own has significantly decreased, often leaving only 1 or 2 million. Many of these middle-class individuals may have bank loans, possibly in the millions. Now, numerous families are grappling with enormous challenges. If they can't maintain the income levels of the past, they can't even repay their bank loans. Additionally, in recent years, many people mortgaged their houses and cars. After mortgaging, they took out so-called financial loans from banks to invest in Ponzi schemes and companies involved in high-interest fundraising. Now, it appears that almost all high-interest fundraising and trust investment products with interest rates exceeding 10% have essentially collapsed, with none able to repay the principal. This year, these issues are expected to implode comprehensively. Most of the wealth management companies or fundraising investment companies that struggled to survive last year are likely to go under completely this year. Recently, it was observed that the most formidable Ponzi scheme company in Shenzhen, Dingyifeng, collaborated with overseas funds and even partnered with American fund tycoons. It employed a so-called metaphysical investment model, deceiving 500,000 people and accumulating hundreds of billions. It essentially wiped out several 100,000 middle-class individuals in Shenzhen. Soon, there will be a significant number of bank-mortgaged properties being liquidated in Shenzhen. Given the current situation, this year's circumstances are poised to be even more perilous. Last year's economy was described as extremely challenging, and this year's economy is anticipated to be even more daunting. So, harboring any illusions is not advisable. Recently, Xi Jinping's speech at a financial research symposium for provincial and ministerial level cadres was noted. He emphasized that financial supervision this year should be sharp-edged, clearly defined, and ruthless in enforcement. This speech is deemed highly impactful. Financial institutions, including those involved in the securities market, are now terrified. From Xi Jinping's words, it is evident that they have realized the few remaining industries that struggled through last year will likely face severe challenges this year. Therefore, a major storm is still brewing. Xi Jinping's recent speech at the Financial Supervision Work Meeting suggested that strict supervision must be applied to financial investments or wealth obtained through financial means. They must not be allowed to continue their operations through speculative or investment means to gain excessive profits. Once the CCP regime takes action, once they start controlling, all sectors of the economy will be thrown into chaos. Thus, it is believed that this year's problems will indeed be more severe. The hope of the middle class for relief and a better life this year will probably be quickly shattered by the harsh reality. Don't forget to leave a comment in the section below to share your opinions on today's topic with us. Make sure to like and subscribe to see more interesting topics from China Truths.